Good afternoon. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Panerai Luminor Marina, reference PAM01312. This watch is available from Chronex.com for €7,190. You can purchase the watch from Chronex.com online, alternatively in person at their boutiques. All their watches are Chronex certified original by their in-house watchmakers, and all their watches are covered by the Chronex 24-month warranty. So firstly, let's look at the box that the watch comes in, then I'll talk you through the other items one gets with the piece. So the Panerai Luminor Marina comes in a black cardboard outer protective box. One removes the lid, pulls down the flap, and the watch box is protected by a microfiber polishing cloth inside. So I'll show you the watch box. As you can see, very aesthetically pleasing, finished to a high standard. I like the stainless steel hardware to the hinge lid. Now inside there is another microfiber polishing cloth which wraps around the interior. As you can see, it's embossed with Panerai to a high standard. So one unfolds it like an envelope, and I'll show you the accessories inside. We have a jeweler's screwdriver, and we also have a spring bar tool. Now the Luminor Marina doesn't use conventional spring bars, it actually uses stainless steel bars as part of a quick release system, which I'll detail. So they've included a push pin tool which is made from plastic, and I think it's a credit to Panerai because they've thought this through very well. Rather than making it from stainless steel, it's made from plastic, so therefore it's not going to scuff and scratch the lugs when pushing out the stainless steel bars that hold the strap in, and it's nice to get that included. On the left hand side we have a Panerai rubber strap. So it's very stiff. I think it's made from vulcanized rubber rather than silicone rubber. Two keepers, one slides and the other one is fixed by a pair of teeth. As you can see, there's a pair of teeth on one side and a pair of teeth on the other side, and that prevents the first keeper from sliding out of position. Nice attention to detail embossed with Panerai. Now one detail I really like is there are stainless steel sleeves that fit all the way through the vulcanized rubber strap, and that prevents the vulcanized rubber splitting and cracking around the spring bar area, which is an area that straps often split, especially when they're made from silicone rubber, because silicone rubber isn't as durable as vulcanized rubber. The negative of vulcanized rubber is it is stiffer. It's not as soft and supple as silicone rubber, but it is definitely more durable. One can use the buckle and tang on the alligator leather strap that comes with a watch and fit it to this vulcanized rubber strap as an alternative. So I'll show you the other side to it. One detail I like is the cutouts on the underside. As you can see, they allow for ventilation so sweat and perspiration can wick away from the wrist. Plenty of holes in the rubber strap to allow for fine-tuning the adjustment. And on one side it has Officine embossed, and on the other side it has Panerai. And again, we have the stainless steel sleeve inside, as you can see, which reinforces it around the bar. So I really like it. I think it's a very well executed vulcanized rubber strap. With regards to the other items, this is the owner's instruction manual, and it also details the terms and conditions of the warranty. Clear, concise diagrams. The instructions are bilingual, both in English and other foreign languages. So really, it's a very good read if you're unfamiliar with the movement used in the watch, which is the caliber P9010. One also gets this moulded rubber protective case, as you can see, and this fits around the case to protect it from scuffs and scratches, so it's good to get that included. And lastly, one also gets this plastic warranty card, and as you can see, this is a brand new unworn 2021 piece, so the date of purchase hasn't been filled in, but we have the reference number of the Luminor Marina, which is PAM01312, and for security I've partially covered up the serial number. So with regards to the specifications of the piece, this is the Panerai Luminor Marina, reference PAM01312. 44mm case diameter. We have a 53.5mm lug-to-lug measurement, a thickness of 15.3mm, and a lug width of 24mm. The alligator leather strap tapers from 24mm at the lugs down to the buckle and tang, and as you can see, the large buckle and tang is signed to a high standard with Panerai engraved. Good heavy gauge of metal to the buckle and tang, brushed satin finish throughout, and I like the angular profile of it. It's going to be very durable, and it really does fit the aesthetic of the Luminor Marina as being a tool watch. Two keepers on the alligator leather strap, one slides, one's fixed as one would expect. So I'll show you the underside of it. Finished to a very high standard. Flawless stitching, as you can see, an absolutely beautiful finish. It's got a nice matte finish to the alligator leather. Now this strap is made in Austria, which is a surprise because the watch is Swiss made. As you can see, if you look on the underside, it has made in Austria embossed, and it's also stamped. And on the other side of the strap we have Panerai embossed. So absolutely beautifully finished, but the only thing is, it's a very stiff padded strap, so it's going to take some time to break in, because as you can see, it's very thick all the way through. So it's going to be durable, but it is going to take some time to break in and become supple and soft, and therefore comfortable to wear for long periods of time. But it's a very high grade Austrian made alligator leather strap, and of course one also has the vulcanized rubber strap as an alternative if the alligator strap isn't your personal taste. So the Luminor Marina is an iconic purist Panerai collector's piece. It has the classic Luminor 44mm case. It's the 1950 design with the Luminor crown lock, as you can see. So it has all the features of the Luminor series. Iconic Panerai Luminor dial design, as you can see, with the 12, 9 and 6 large Arabic numerals to the sandwich dial. And at 9 o'clock we also have a second sub-dial with a blue anodized second hand. So very aesthetically pleasing dial layout, good symmetry, and it really is a beautiful piece to look at. Date complication at 3 o'clock, black date wheel, so the legibility is outstanding. Double dome sapphire crystal, which is absolutely gorgeous to look at. It's got a slight lip which projects above the mirror polished bezel. The bezel is mirror polished to a flawless standard, as one would expect. Clear AR coating on the underside of the double dome sapphire crystal does a good job of reducing the glare and the highly reflective nature of the silver baton style hands, as you can see. So very good looking piece to look at. 44mm really is the classic Luminor case size, and it really is the size that is most noted for the Luminor Marina. As you can see, flawless brushed satin finishing to the flanks of the case, the tops of the case, and also the underside and the tops of the lug. So the finish level of this is high tier, absolutely gorgeous. Screw down solid stainless steel case back. The case, bezel and also the case back are made from 316L grade stainless steel. Concentric brushed satin finishing, engraved to a high standard, as you can see. Beautiful, nice, large, flat case back, very comfortable to wear against the wrist, and it's also low profile, as you can see, so it gives a very comfortable fit. So I like the engraving, it's done to a good standard, and also like the matte satin finishing to it throughout, because it gives the watch a tall watch aesthetic. Now, one of my favourite features is the locking mechanism. As you can see, it's engraved with Reg TM for registered trademark. It is indeed a registered trademark of Panerai, and it is an iconic aspect of the Luminor series. So let's test the crown action. One releases the crown lock, and then in the first position one can manually wind the caliber P9010 to top up the power reserve to its maximum 3 days or 72 hours. The 72-hour power reserve is very impressive. Pulling it out to the first click position is the date setting position. One can independently set the hour hand, as you can see, both clockwise and anti-clockwise, and cycling it through the 24 hours advances the date complication. If you look closely at the date complication at 3 o'clock, by independently rotating the hour hand, one can advance the date. As you can see, it's just flicked over, and it works both clockwise and anti-clockwise. One can also cycle it anti-clockwise using the hour hand, and that will actually quick set the date in reverse. So that's a feature I like, because one doesn't have to keep setting it clockwise, cycling through 24 hours. For example, if you go past the day you want, you can rotate the hour hand anti-clockwise and go back to it, rather than have to cycle through the 30 days of the month again. So it's a very good function. Putting it out to the second click position is the time setting position, and as you can see, as usual, one can set the time using the minute and hour hand. Absolutely silky smooth. Nice firm resistance to the caliber 9010 automatic. Now the thing to note is it doesn't have hacking. As you can see, I have now pulled out the crown to the second position, the second click, which would normally hack the movement and stop the second hand dead. But if you look closely at the blue second hand on the sub dial, the second hand continues to sweep around. It doesn't hack. So the movement doesn't have hacking, and that's something to note, because you may like movements to have hacking. Pushing it back in restarts the movement, and you can lock it, and that then reinstates the hermetic seal. So the crown is water resistant to 300 meters. It has 300 meters of hermetic seal, as does the screw down case back, as you can see. Right, so I'll give you a wrist shot and you can see how it fits on my 8-inch wrist. Now the alligator leather strap, I'll try again. The alligator leather strap comes in 3 lengths. It comes in standard, long and extra long. And this is the standard length, and as you can see, it's just a fraction too short from 8-inch wrist to engage in the 2 keepers, so I would need the extra long strap. But for the majority of collectors with a 6 to 7-inch wrist, the standard length strap that comes with the watch will fit. If you have a larger than 7-inch wrist, I recommend the long strap, and of course if you have a very large wrist of over 8 inches, you'll need the extra long strap. But as you can see, the buckle and tang engage very well with the ovalized holes in the strap. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is this is a very large piece at 44 millimeters, and it does have heft even on the alligator leather strap. This is 147 grams. So straight away I'm going to say, if you're a collector with a 6 to 7-inch wrist, you are going to find the 44 millimeter wrist presence to be too much. It doesn't wear like a top heavy piece. It's actually very well balanced because the strap is very wide. It's 24 millimeters and it has a slight taper down to the large buckle and tang. So it's very well balanced, even though it's 147 grams and a large piece with wrist presence, but it does have a rather long lug-to-lug measurement of 53.5 millimeters. Now, as you'll know from my previous reviews, I consider 48 millimeters to be the sweet spot for all wrist sizes, regardless of whether you have a 6 to 7-inch wrist or a 7 to 8-inch wrist, respectively. 53.5 is a very long case, even for a 44 millimeter head of the piece. So really this is best suited to a collector with a large wrist of 7 to 8 inches. Now on my 8-inch wrist, yes, it does have wrist presence, but it does feel very well balanced, well proportioned. Now it is also a tall piece, 15.3 millimeters, including the double dome sapphire crystal, so it's not going to easily slip underneath the shirt cuff if you wear business shirts. So that's something to bear in mind. Really, I regard 13 millimeters to be the sweet spot for the height of a piece. At 15.3, it really is a very tall piece and also very long at 53.5. So that's something to bear in mind. But if you do have a large wrist and you enjoy pieces with wrist presence and heft, then you will thoroughly enjoy the 147 grams of heft and also the 44 millimeter case. Now, 44 millimeters is the classic, iconic Luminor case size, and especially with the Luminor lock, as you can see. So this is really the best size for a Luminor Marina, 44 millimeters, and it has all the iconic features like the Luminor lock, as you can see. Very comfortable piece to wear despite the heft and also the fact it's a long piece. But bear in mind, I have an 8-inch wrist, so I can wear large pieces like this which are 44 millimeters. So let's do a loom test and we'll see how the loom performs when it's charged up to its absolute maximum. So as always, I'm going to use my 100 UV LED torch to charge it up to its absolute peak. Now I've got high expectations of this because it is a high tier piece and it uses C3 Super Luminova, which is one of my personal favourites, as you'll know from my previous reviews. Right, so that's now fully charged, and as you can see, it has not disappointed. The sandwich dial allows for large loom plots, as you can see on the large Arabic numerals 12, 9 and 6, and also the baton hands allow for several layers of C3 Super Luminova to be applied. One detail I like is if you look at the sub dial for the seconds at 9 o'clock, they have also loomed the sub dial and they have also loomed the second hand, so that's a nice detail. Now there is an absent Arabic numeral, or alternatively one could say the index on the dial. There is only a shorter index at the date complication position at 3, but it does retain the symmetry of the dial, the iconic Luminor Marina dial layout, and I really like it. The use of the sandwich dial really does provide incredible loom performance. This is some of the best performing C3 Super Luminova I have seen on a watch, and I really love the green tone of it. It really does match the iconic 1950s look. So absolutely gorgeous. It's glowing brightly and it's continuing to glow for a good length of time. The symmetry of the dial is good, the orientation, and I really like the large fully loomed Arabic numerals 12, 9 and 6. It's just a beautiful dial layout. Right, so let's discuss the movement used because it's one of my favourite aspects of the piece. So the Luminor Marina uses the caliber P01312 automatic, which is an in-house movement entirely made by Panerai. It has 31 joules, it runs at 28,800 vibrations per hour and a frequency of 4 Hz. It has a 3-day power reserve, or 72 hours, which is very impressive. It has hand winding, but as I've demonstrated, it doesn't hack. One cannot stop the second hand dead, so that's a negative if one likes to set the time precisely to the second. But it is an in-house movement and it is a reliable, well-proven Panerai caliber, so that's something to bear in mind. Now, I really like the 72-hour power reserve, and really to have a 3-day power reserve is very useful if you wear the watch in rotation with other pieces in a collection. So, good solid movement, it's accurate, it's reliable, the build quality is good, the quality control is good, and the caliber 9010 is one of Panerai's best movements. It's very well made, so I like it, and I like the fact it's an in-house caliber, and Panerai deserve full credit for producing a very good quality automatic movement with a 72-hour power reserve. So lastly, I'll summarise the piece. What do I think of it overall? Well, when I'm considering reviewing a watch on my channel, the watch should meet 2 criteria. It should be both excellent quality and excellent value at the respective price point. So really, to equate this watch, one has to consider several factors. Looking at the case finishing, it is outstanding, flawless brush satin finishing throughout. Every facet of the head of the piece is done to perfection. There are no imperfections whatsoever. I really like it. One feature I really like, which one doesn't see on other watches, if you look closely at the underside of the lugs, there is a dimple, there's a button you press. And as you can see, it doesn't have conventional spring bars. It has solid stainless steel bars which fit through the sleeves in the alligator leather strap. As I've discussed, I've shown it to you in the vulcanized rubber strap. So in order to remove the strap, one presses the button and that releases the quick release, and one can slide out the bar using the enclosed tool. And as you can see, the other lug also has a button, so you press the button and that lets the bar come out, as opposed to using a conventional spring bar. So Panerai deserve full credit, because this really is the kind of detail one only gets on a high tier piece, and one doesn't get it on a mid tier piece or a low tier piece. As you can see, these are a superior method than spring bars, especially with these stainless steel collars or sleeves that fit through the strap. So these are the kind of features that make it excellent quality. And of course, we've got the iconic Luminor crown lock, as you can see, which is beautiful to look at, but it also serves a function because it protects the crown from any impact damage, and it also locks it in to provide an effective hermetic seal to 300 meters. So the specification is strong. It has an in-house caliber P9010 automatic movement, which is made by Panerai in-house. So I would describe it as excellent quality. Now, with regards to value, €7,190. It is an expensive piece, and really I think that the value is good, but I wouldn't describe the value as excellent. I would say it's excellent quality but good value, because within the high tier at that price point, €7,190, this does face a lot of stiff competition. There are some very good quality high tier dive pieces for the €7,000 price point within the high tier. So one can only say that it's good value, bearing in mind the other pieces one could buy for the same price point. But the quality is definitely excellent. So overall, I'm going to highly recommend it to you for your consideration. I hope you've enjoyed my review of the Panerai Luminor Marina, reference PAM01312. Please feel free to post your own comments below the video. Thank you very much.